My podcast tradition with always starting off by packing myself a bowl and coughing into a hysteric frenzy before the thing
Exactly.
starts.
That's when you know it's really live.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to the first point this season where you throw your beer against the window. I
I can't.
just
Why did I do that? What? I totally remember that happening where I was like something. It was something going on in wasn't it something going on in game or
I
something?
think it was you being pissed, maybe about the Chargers or something like
Yes,
that, and you were
dude.
like, I was so
Yeah.
fucking pissed, I threw my beer against the window, and we were just
Oh,
like, what? What the hell are you talking about? The
well,
window?
dude, well, okay, it's not really. It wasn't. Okay, so it's a if you've been to my grandmother's place,
Which we
it's
all
like a
have.
slight. Everybody's well, if they haven't, they should. Come on down. It's in North PB. It's technically got the La Jolla address, so it's all like nice and fancy, but really, it's actually just North PB.
Swanky.
But yeah, no, that must have been a Charger game, and I think that was just because they had a horrible season last year. Not surprising, like they normally have before, but that one was like the season where they blew away the statistics. Like each like so many of the games they lost, they actually had like a 99% chance to win it, and somehow they blew it. And I don't know if that was a Raider game or if that was something, but yeah, they fucking pissed me off, and I don't have to deal with that shit no more because that's Misha's team now, as he fucking said. So good riddance, Misha. You enjoy them. I know you've already watched me go through a hell of a bunch of heartbreak, and you've already got your dirty Raiders. So well, I guess you and Papa John both. Are there any other Raiders fans in the league?
God, I don't think so. I don't think Phil is a Raiders fan. Yeah,
Was
I
Sean,
don't think anybody else is.
was Sean Sweeney when he was in the league? Is he a Raiders fan, or is he a
He,
like
yeah, he definitely is or was at some, yeah,
at some point? Oh my
exactly.
God! Do we
Wow,
start?
did not think that name would ever be dropped in this podcast. Wow, that is a surprise right there.
That's true. I couldn't actually mention or name all the other people that have been in the league because I feel we've had this good core group for such a long time.
Well,
I'm trying to even,
we've always had the same 9 people, and then it's that 10th person has been the revolving door,
is
and
it
now
just
that
only well is it just only that because I didn't think that okay, so we know for sure who was in the very beginning. It was obviously Nick was the starter of the league. He's the one that put the whole thing together. There was Joey, there was you, me, Derek,
hmm
John.
Misha probably.
I'm sure Misha was in from the very beginning. I definitely want to say. I'm. I also want to say that Phil was in from the very beginning, but I'm actually not too sure about that now that I think about it. I thought
I don't
Jimmy
know.
was one of the. I know Jimmy had one that's wasn't it that second year?
I can't remember honestly. Yeah,
It
that's
was.
God. That's been fucking. What is
This is what
this?
I mean.
This is what's our league name? How many years has it been now?
Volume 8.
Oh shit, yeah. I know. I can't, dude. I can barely remember two
You.
days ago.
I. Well, do you even remember year one? Do you remember the IDP league?
Oh yeah. I always bring that shit up to Nick. I'm like, Nick, when you win the league and you can change the rules, we can have fucking defensive players again. He's like, oh yeah, we're doing that
Oh
again.
yeah, we're definitely doing that again. I've heard some really cool ideas from other people, or from what some other people do in their other leagues. Like, have you heard of any of the leagues where they have like the set amount of money for the waiver wire, like waiver wire transactions?
I've heard of that. I know a lot of people that do just auction drafts, which I've
Auction
been very
drafts.
curious about. But
So have I.
I
If
mean, I'm go
if
ahead.
somebody wins this year, they could definitely go ahead and apply that rule.
Well, that's what I was
An
about to
auction.
say. I like that we still keep intact our rule of if you win the league, you get to dictate the settings and the setup for next year. And it's nice to see that people actually take advantage of that. And it's not just like, oh, well, whatever. Like, I don't want to shake it up. We've had different things come into play. We've moved over to half point PPR. Now we're doing these weekly bonuses. So I like to see that there's some variation going on and people, don't just take the money and run, but they actually like to put a personal touch on the next year.
Oh, take money and run.
Take the money and run.
Uh,
But I thought
uh,
we might have. I thought we might have our first kind of controversy before the season even started this year with that whole, everybody opining on, how we should do the buy-ins and the payouts and everything. It was kind of getting a little heated for a while, but I'm glad that we kind of squashed it and reminded everybody that, what, Brian fucking won, and he gets to choose how it gets set up.
Preach, Sean. Reverend.
Yeah.
You don't need me to say nothing.
Hey, and I you won at that my hand. So the fact that I can admit,
yeah.
And I think that's a good segue into, I think we need to remind people of the way that last season ended, because we didn't get to do any podcast recap. We didn't even get to do a real preview of the finals last year because it was like Christmas week and everybody was doing their shit.
Nobody would have been listening at that point.
Oh yeah,
even number one listener, Papa John, if he was out when he went out of the playoffs, he was done. No more podcast for him.
Our fucking YouTube analytics would have dropped a nice goose egg for that one.
Dude, but no, that was a really special thing. I don't know. It's kind of strange to think that even though this podcast is more fun, it's just for the hell of it. And we don't like to pass ourselves off.
I mean, the money and the bitches are certainly nice, but it's not why we actually do this.
No, it's not why we do this. But I will say, everybody, if you guys are out there listening to ESPN, you guys are out there listening to Yahoo, all these fucking fantasy experts that say they know what they're talking about, I'll tell you what, guys. Did they get you to the playoffs? Maybe. But they did get to the championship. Did they get you to the championship? My God, the Fantasy Football Podcast Championship. That was something pretty crazy. And I can't believe that we actually didn't have an actual podcast of it. That's probably where everybody's actually laughing at us right now.
That's probably the most sadly ironic piece of it all is it was a podcast championship and we didn't do any podcasts for it.
We didn't even care enough to try to make the effort to make a podcast.
We were just too into the zone. We fucking hated each other. We couldn't talk to each other. It was too serious. No, it was not. It was not like that at all.
Imagine if that was like I just remember talking to you a shit ton that whole that whole week. I just can't remember we were even mentioning it on the phone that we were having issues trying to remember even if there was like a Thursday game or a Monday game or anything like that.
Yeah, I can't. I definitely cannot remember like how it all played out. Like in the course of the week and the different games. I'm telling you, I can't remember what happened 2 days ago, but it's.
I really wish we had the ability to go back and look at oh, wait a minute. We do have the ability to go back and look at the game. Let me go ahead and bring up our league history from 2016 just so I can go ahead and look at this glorious victory of mine to win the whole thing, the whole kit and caboodle. Man, it was...
It ended up, just looking at it on paper, it ended up closer than it really should have.
What is that? What's the point differential? Not by much right there.
17 point differential.
Oh, 17
points. 17 points. That's not a nail biter by any means, but still, 17 is certainly, one or two players could have certainly overcome, that amount of points. But God damn it, looking down my lineup, basically every single position player underperformed except my fucking golden goose Jordy Nelson put up 32.5, and that's the only reason that I was literally not just embarrassed and shamed out of the whole championship. Like it looks way better 97 to 114. Thank you, Jordy, for at least not making me cry too much.
And Breeze did not help. That was not. I don't know if that was his lowest of the season, but he only had 17 points.
Looks like it wasn't his lowest of the season, but it was his fourth lowest of the season. So still not helpful. And then
not what you want in your
DeAndre Hopkins, my number one pick, never fucking helped me during the year, and certainly didn't help me during the finals. So fuck you, DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, and I would say my team, the guys who took me there the entire way for all year they showed up when I needed them to. Matt Ryan was amazing last year. Zeke got me 21.5.
Zeke, your star.
I actually think he was like my last to play. I want to say he was my last to play, if I remember correctly.
Probably, yeah. You probably needed like 4 points from Zeke or something. And
yeah, not very much, and then he went on off. And I think I remember getting the text from you if he might have broken a long one on in that game, and that was
sealed the deal right there.
Yeah,
barring multiple fumbles.
LeGarrette Blount was fucking amazing last year.
Yeah,
dude,
what
touchdown
a
machine. Oh my
18
god.
touchdowns last year. Like what a steal.
Wow. I can't believe that. And then of course T.Y. Hilton was he finished the 5th overall. Wow, that was pretty impressive. But dude, that was such a fun season. It was really close for everybody. Like even looking at the standings right now, dude. So you have me at 11-2, John at 9-4, 3 at 7-6, 2 at 6-7, and then 3 at 4-9.
Yeah, from what I remember, it was literally there was like 4 people fighting for the last like 3 playoff spots or something like that. So almost everybody, I think, except Misha, maybe Chris, were actually like mathematically eliminated like the week before or something.
Yeah, maybe like the very end, yeah.
But everybody for the most part had a chance up until the last week or two. So yeah, I would say last season was definitely a good one. Everybody was super involved and pretty much kept it in there till the end. So I'm hoping that this year brings more of the same. But Brian, I will congratulate you on your win, as much as it hurt, but I gotta say it felt good to get second place. But looking to take down the crown this year, as we all are. You got the target on your back. I would still say that Joey is public enemy number 1.
He's like
Darth Joey.
We've talked about this before. Joey, in fantasy terms of our fantasy league, he is the fucking New England Patriots. That guy has been to the big show too many times, and he's won the big show too many times. Joey, this is credit to you. We are applauding to you, but we are still saying you are the ultimate fantasy nemesis.
and then the thing about Joey is every single year he wins, there's some sort of a Deflategate scandal, going on. Always those asterisks, by his.
In all honesty, I can only really remember one like Deflategate scenario, and that was like a huge Deflategate. That was controversy city. I remember a lot of people in the league were all like uppity about that, and it only made it even more of a controversy because the only person to be able to do anything was the commissioner, and as it turned out, the commissioner just happened to be Joseph. But we're not talking about scandals in the past. We are thinking about our scandals in the future because we are fucking here. We are finally here. I can't believe we're already recording a new podcast again. It's fucking crazy. My
God, it's crazy. Yeah, I was honestly nervous coming into this because I just didn't know. I was like, shit, we're gonna do a podcast. Somehow this thing's gonna be an hour long. I don't even know what I'm gonna say. Like, I don't know what to talk about. Everything's so fresh. But I mean, once that microphone turns on, it just, I don't know, words start coming out and I just start saying stuff. So apologies in advance to everybody that listens to this because I don't know what the fuck I'm even saying half the time.
This is why we had that whole little thing about hide the wives and the children and everything like that, because we don't want to get like dirty looks when we come and visit your houses.
Exactly.
That's specifically why. But well, damn, dude, we've already been mumbling for quite a little while. See, this is what happens when you're out of practice and out of the game. Can't keep ourselves on track.
So on track. All right, but to get onto a track, yeah, I think
it is a brand new season. We did just have our draft.
Yeah, I think we should do a little bit of a review of the draft, just kind of reinvigorate everybody's memories. Like, I don't know, every year I always feel like everything is leading up to the draft. Those like final weeks before we were just like, oh shit, fantasy football right around the corner, and the draft is what you have in your sights. You get prepped for it, you start reading, you start listening, and then the draft goes by in like an hour and a half, and then like nobody talks to each other for like, well, I mean, for the most part, for like that week beforehand.
Let me tell you, let me so this is what I have to say, and I think for some reason, and I don't know, maybe other people will agree with me, but I feel this year's draft was a little bit different, and I'll tell you why.
Tell me why.
Okay. So I feel in years past, there's been a draft. Somebody, multiple people, usually the same characters, Nick and Joey, Nick specifically, cannot help but roster bait all over the place
That's
after
true.
they've done their draft.
That is true.
That all of a sudden the text messages are flying. They're like, dude, did you see how stacked I am? Oh
Yeah.
my God, such
That's
and such
classic
here,
Nick
such
right
and
there.
such here. Yeah, I feel no. You know what, Joey? I'm going too hard on you. We already trolled you a little bit on the multiple championship run, so now it's Nick's turn. Nick, you love roster baiting. I think he loves roster baiting more than masturbating. I'm not sure about this, but maybe that might be the case. That might be Nick's porn. Actually, he doesn't go to porn websites. What he does is he looks up all of his old past like drafts. And he's just like, oh my God, I cannot believe I was so fucking clever to get such and such in the thick and
Nobody
round.
knows this strategy.
Oh man, that sounds like our boy. Our boy.
Yeah, that is classic Nick right there. Every time after, he's like, this is it. Nope, this is the year. I'm fucking taking it down. I've got this strategy. I picked up my QB in like round 6. Like no one was even thinking that I was gonna do that. And then it's like, dude, Nick, what the fuck are you even talking about? Like, no, this is the year. This is the year I'm taking it. I didn't really hear much from Nick.
Exactly.
So
that's
what
do
you make of that?
I think that everybody was looking at. So last year when I had my draft, even though I ended up winning, I'm telling you guys, after I named my team, the way I named my team, when I looked at my draft, I was looking at what I had and just fuck. Like, that was my overall feeling, like, woof, like, shit, I guess I'm going to have to do something with this. I feel everybody kind of felt the same way. I think people took players where they wanted to players, I feel people took players where they wanted to. Some people reached on a few players, which threw off a lot of other people. Like, I don't know why, but I feel like a lot of people this year had strategies coming on into it, and everybody's strategy went to shit.
Yeah, I will say that for myself.
And that happened to me. Yeah,
yeah,
that happened to me. Multiple like when we get, I know we're eventually going to look at maybe the top of the draft a little bit just to see them by the rounds. But I know for me, John specifically took a bunch of like at least 2 or 3 players that I was targeting. He was drafting right before me, but even still, there was quite a few people that I was totally thrown off once they were gone and off the board and had to go a different direction. I know we're also going to get into talking about people's teams maybe at the very end, but I don't know. I think that was the overall feeling that people were just not all that impressed this year with their drafts. I don't know, and I don't know how you feel.
I think that's a sound theory. Like nobody was out there talking about their teams afterwards. You know, nobody was talking it up. So you could be right. I certainly felt that way about my team. Like, you said you drafted after John and I drafted after you. And
did I take any players?
Any? Dude, I looked back like 4 out of the first 5 rounds. You actually took the person that I was hoping to get. And it just threw me off. Like for most of the picks, I was like, "Fuck!" Now I don't know who I'm taking.
I know.
Yeah, I had to take a lot of the clock to figure out what I was gonna do, and then I would pick somebody, and I was just like, "Oh my God, why? What? No, I would never have done that." So I don't know. Maybe it could work because every other year I'm like, I feel like I got the guys that I wanted. Like I feel good, and then I usually don't play very well. So I don't know. Like maybe this is a good thing that I went out of my comfort zone, or people went out of their comfort zones.
I think that's very possible. Dude, I'm really curious. Now I want to get into it. Can we open up the draft?
Let's get into it. I think the first thing I want to say, I know I called it out in the text group, but I am in just disbelief that Derek got the number 1 pick. He was the number 1 pick last year, and if I recall correctly, which I could be wrong, but I swear he's been first pick at some point before that.
I think he's had at least 3 number 1 picks.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna guess, and I just could not believe that he got number 1 pick again. And I'm shamelessly just talking about myself here. You know, this is not your podcast.
Okay,
Mr.
no. Sean. Okay, this is our podcast, so we're gonna talk about how high we've ever drafted. What's the highest you've ever drafted in our league before?
I think it was 4. I think I was 4th.
Fuck. Go fucking walk off a goddamn.
Are you what?
Bridge.
That
are
pisses
you fucking
you
serious? Number 4, you got as high as 4. I don't think I've ever been higher than 6, and that was only once. That's all I've only ever. That's as high as I've been, and it was only 1 year.
Okay,
I'm
that's
pretty sure I've
pretty
had
fucking
7
bad.
twice. I've had not. This was the second year I had 9. I've had 8, and I've had 10.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's worse than me. But I mean, I'm in that same bucket with you, where I'm always in the second half or the back of the pack.
It's not gonna. That doesn't mean you're gonna lose. Like I was in the back of the half last year and I won, but that doesn't mean. I think the draft and Nick was talking about it when he was down over the weekend, or we might have been talking about it while chatting. But he was saying that the draft is only half. It's only half of the work that you have in front of you.
Yeah,
right?
at best.
Right. It's only like half of the work, because that waiver wire every single week, that's going to be how you finish your team. You're going to get all the pieces that you need to get to where you need. I didn't have my quarterbacks last year. I had to find them on the waiver wire. That's where I got Matt Ryan. I did not draft Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
He finishes as a top quarterback. I didn't predict that. I got lucky. That's because I grabbed him off of waivers, and I know there are a lot of people out there that made good runs. Like Chris was having a pretty tough season because he had Adrian Peterson, go down. That was his wasn't that his top pick?
I think it was.
Yeah, but he was still able to get like a couple pretty key players, and be able to sort of put a run together. I know there are a lot of other people that are like just have a knack for finding fucking people on the waivers. Like Joey's a monster when it comes to waiver wire picks.
I remember what I got. It's been like 6 years now, but when he picked Michael Vick off the waivers and he dropped like 60 points that 1 week.
Yep, and he won the league that year with Michael Vick.
Yeah, so I mean the waivers certainly can win people championships, and I think I would even break it into 3 buckets. You've got draft, waivers, but then you've also got just roster management. You can have
trades.
Well, it could include trades. I kind of put trades and waivers kind of in the same thing, but maybe they're a little different. They're just they're in the category of like adding and dropping players throughout the season.
We're just making up our own categories.
Well, I think
trading technically falls.
Okay, fine. Then break
it.
Yeah, but the thing is that fucking nobody in this league trades for the most part. I think it's more about you can have a super stacked team, but if you leave the wrong people on your bench, that can really fuck you. So you have to know when to play certain people as well.
Dude, oh shit, where the fuck can I find that draft recap? Where's that shit again?
It's on you go to the main page, and then the little like the subheadings at the top, there's the more with the drop down, and then it says draft
recap. Thank you, sir. Yep, there we go. Cool.
So, yeah, Derek. I mean, I think the first 3 picks are to no surprise with David Johnson, Le'Veon, and Antonio Brown. No surprises there. I'm trying to see if there were even any surprises in the first round, honestly.
I don't think. Well, maybe
my pick, or I don't know. No.
Yeah, I'm surprised you went Michael. Well, okay. So here's the thing. I guess I was too wrapped up in what was going on, because what that pick should have told everybody is that Sean is looking for Drew. Just like he had last. I feel you've had Drew now a couple of years.
I had Drew last year. I don't know if I've had.
That's the only year?
No, I've never had him in the past. I've always been a quarterback streamer in the past, and I always hated it. So.
And you just said fuck it, and you're not gonna have it no more.
Yeah, and it worked for me last year, so definitely was trying it again. But yeah, I mean, when my turn came up, you picked Devontae Freeman, and that's who I had my sights on. I was like, I have a good chance of getting Freeman. I really, really wanted him this year, but you snagged him. And then I think the natural pick that most other people would have chosen for the 10th spot would have been AJ Green. And I was talking to Joey about this. He was like, dude, why didn't you pick up AJ? And this is just a total personal thing, but for some reason, I've just never been a big AJ fan from a fantasy perspective. And it's probably pretty stupid, but I don't like the Bengals. I know AJ puts up monster games. He's fairly consistent, but I don't know. There are just some times where I swear like he just puts up some really low numbers.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just don't really like him that much. So I just was like, I'm actively going to avoid picking him right now. And I picked 2 people instead of him, basically.
Yeah, no, because you went Michael Thomas, and then you had obviously you were next back in the second round. You went Melvin Gordon, and I
Yeah.
know we skipped over a bunch of people, but I mean, in all honesty, it was
First
guys,
round's
come on,
pretty
it was straightforward.
self-explanatory. Yeah.
I have to say, tightest ends. That's fucking hilarious. Who is that?
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
a
Jimmy?
Good... Let's see.
No, no. Phil is the Golden Mile. John's grandpa's
Oh, that's
tent.
Misha.
It's Misha.
Oh, and he's got a little meme picture with fucking Jesus. Why am I blanking on what his name is? I cannot believe I'm blanking on this. Wow.
Come on. Oh my God. I just looked at it.
Dude, I'm having like a fucking brain fart right now.
You should be seriously embarrassed. I'll tell you what, Sean. Let me take you a memory trip. Back to when you and I met. What was one of the most popular shows on when you and I met?
Dude, yeah. If I could say what the show was, then I would know what his name is. Obviously.
Why? Because the show is named his name.
Exactly. And what, dude? I don't know. My brain is doing something really weird right now, and it's not letting me remember one of the most popular fucking comedians in the world.
Do you remember the song that played like right after they introduced his name?
It's all about hip hop. Wasn't it Dead Prez hip hop that he always played in his show?
Hip hop.
Yeah.
Hip hop.
Dude, if you don't just fucking say what his name is right now.
No, dude. I want everybody to be laughing at you right now, just because they cannot believe how on earth you forgot this guy's name.
Oh my God.
Okay, let me ask Sean, what was the name of that comedian that we were watching on TV in Vegas?
Oh, the ping pong guy?
Yeah. What was his name?
Oh, I don't know. I have to look him up again.
I feel like you'd be more likely to know this guy's name at this point in time than this other comedian. This guy's nowhere near as popular as fucking.
Yeah, this is bad, dude. This is bad.
His last name starts with a C.
Yes, I got it. I got it now.
Oh, did you have to look it up online? Did you cheat?
I used the internet.
Oh, why couldn't you just naturally
I typed in most popular black comedian and
oh my God!
Promptly gave me the answer.
Get out of here! Get out of this country without nature.
All right, I'm editing out this part of the podcast. I can't have this associated with my persona. I maintain a very well-respected persona, and this would just drop me several dimensions
Sean,
down.
if people at your work found out, man, you're gonna get in trouble, bro. You're not gonna be having a job after this one.
I'm just gonna say I started doing heroin just because that's. At least people will understand. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. We're adding these two together. Dave Chappelle. Look at I can't believe like how long we've gone. See, you guys, this is what happens when you guys introduce like crazy like names like tightest ends and then put up a name or put up a meme of Chappelle and Sean like brain farts and loses it.
Yeah, why you gotta fucking throw some curveballs at me with these Dave Chappelle references? Like, wow, digging real deep for that one, Misha.
I'll throw you a curveball, and just to try to get you back on track, here's a curveball. John, without knowing it, took Zeke in the second.
Yeah, and not even just the second, but the early second.
Second, right? Second.
I don't know. I can't say it was a terrible. It's not a. I don't know. I can't say it's a bad move because all John has to do is like basically go like 3-3 through the first 6 games of the season.
Well, he'll have him for the first game, right?
We'll have him for the first game, and then if he just goes like 500 after that, and then he gets Zeke back, like he's in such prime position to just dominate from there. So could end up being a really good move. I'm sure he was probably disappointed to see that the suspension was upheld because there was a lot of rumors flying around that maybe they would reduce the sentence or drop it altogether, but surprisingly to some, they upheld it. So yeah, 6 weeks where John's not going to have his number 1 draft pick.
Number two.
I'm sorry, number 2 draft pick, yeah.
But you know what is funny, and you know who's really upset about everything? Chris told me about this. So if you look at the schedule, Chris plays John week 1.
Oh, that sucks.
He'll
so he's
also
got to deal
play John.
With a very wait, what was it? And then he also has to play John week 10. So he's got to get the double. He's the only person that's going to have to deal with double Zeke.
The double Zekes.
Ooh, the double Zeke.
Double Zeke. There you go.
Damn.
There you go, John. Grandpa tent. I don't. Okay.
Oh,
speaking
Grandpa's
of,
tent is a great reference.
What am I? I'm missing.
We
that
may have
reference.
to.
Where
We
is
may
it?
have. I may have to spell that one out. I know Joey will know what it is. Nick will
Oh,
obviously know
this
what
is.
it is.
Okay. If we're talking about if this has anything to do with the trip for you, then
Yeah.
I know exactly what we're talking about.
So yeah, this definitely does. It's a Nick Lurch reference. This was back in.
Wait, can we tell the story? Is he gonna get upset?
No, I mean a lot of people already know about this.
Yeah, but didn't he give people like strict instructions that we're not supposed to tell these stories like these?
Probably not. If John knows about it already, how the hell
All
does
right.
John know about it?
All right. Nick,
If the team name is named after this situation, I think we actually like legally have to tell the story.
fine. Before you tell the story, you have to give me an honest answer because it's been plaguing me for fucking a year. What in the hell does really dope guac mean?
There's no like good story behind it. I basically was just trying to think of a team name, and I think I may have been eating chips and guac at the time. And I just thought it would be funny if somebody just described guac as being super dope. Like, damn, this guac is just so dope. And like, everybody fucking loves avocados, all the millennials these days. So I don't know. If you really want me to talk about how my brain works sometimes, it's probably not going to turn out very well. But I just thought it would be kind of funny if somebody described guacamole as dope.
That's dope.
And I wanted to name my team after some really dope guac. Because who doesn't love some fucking dope guac though? Like when you go to a restaurant or somebody like makes some fresh at home and you dip that chip in there and you're like, dude, this is some fucking great guacamole. Like that's kind of how I felt about my team last year. Is that enough of an explanation for you?
I suppose.
I suppose.
So in reality, it's not really a reference to anything.
No, sorry to disappoint you. No movie reference, no like funny, people in the league reference or anything like that. So
well, and of course, John does have a reference for his league name, and I wasn't there for this trip,
unfortunately.
And I do really regret that, and especially with this particular scenario because I'm not. Even though I can still make fun of him, it's not as special because I wasn't there and I couldn't be like crying with tears, like laughing at him, which is what that's what I would have wanted to have happen.
There were some tears of laughter and tears of surprise. But so yeah, I had my bachelor party. This was back in May, I think, and took a group of boys. We went up camping. And Nick's I'm sure he's gone camping before, but not an avid outdoorsman. I think he would probably own up to that as well. And so he didn't have his own tent, so he logically, like we all would do in that situation, we went to our grandpa's and borrowed his grandpa's tent. And he's pulling this fucking tent out. And this is a tent from, like, I swear to God, it's got to be 1950. Like, they do not make tents like this anymore for good reason because it's just a really fucked up, weird design. It already took him about an hour just to set up the tent. So, there was already jokes being played about Nick's tent situation. But then, the real kicker of this whole thing, obviously a lot of drinking involved, some smoking and, just boys having some fun and whatnot. And Nick finds himself in the dead of the night, waking up in the middle of the night, has to piss so fucking bad as you can imagine, and you get up out of your tent, you go piss in a bush, Nick tries to do that. And realizes that his zipper is jammed. Like this is his grandpa's tent. The zipper to exit the tent.
Pants, not his pants zipper.
Yeah, the front door to his tent. To be able to get outside. And Nick's in sort of a drunken, sleepy haze, like middle of the night. Cannot for the life of him fucking get out of this tent. And so, he realizes, I guess this is an emergency situation, and he has no choice but to logically piss into the corner of his own tent and wipe it up with a sock and then just go back to sleep. And the next morning decides that he has to tell everybody about his tale of pissing in the tent from the night before.
Why couldn't you just let it go, Nick? Why couldn't you just not say anything to anybody?
Easily could have gotten away with it. Easily. That's why I feel okay telling the story, because Nick was the first person to tell the story. So, John, absolutely love the reference on that one. Fucking just, I would say a pretty classic Nick situation right there, and I'm glad that it can live on into the fantasy world as well.
I still right now, I'm giving the name award to Joey just because I'm a sucker for references that I get, and I knee slap and I go, I get that one. So Joey. You're getting my vote. I have not updated my name. I need to do so. Sean, are you sticking with dope?
No, absolutely. I can't keep the same team name more than 1 year. I just haven't figured out my new team name yet, but I will. Yeah, Derek, you need a new one. Jimmy, you need a new one. Jimmy, I think this if you keep this name, this could be your third year having the same name.
No. Derek hasn't beat. Derek's been Car Ramrod for a long time.
Yeah, Derek, you gotta fucking change that name, man. I know you don't even listen to this podcast,
dude,
so already
there's
strike one and strike two right there. Like, give me a reason. Like, I'm holding my hand up for a fucking backhand to the face right now. Just give me a reason, Derek.
They're making a new Super Troopers. Use an updated new Super Troopers reference. Like, we could even do that.
Exactly. Use a new Super Troopers reference. I mean, Derek, I know you fucking love movies more than a lot of people. Like, let's get that fresh reference. Come on, man.
I need to find my reference. I don't know. I think I've decided what it's going to be, and I feel like only 2 people are going to get it.
That's fine. It's, some of those really dark horse, deep references. It's, that's how you make some friends right there.
I don't think so. I think I'm gonna make less friends, actually.
No, you make less friends, but the ones that you do make are even better because of it.
Ooh, that's a good. It's quality over quantity. I agree with this.
Exactly.
Now, seeing as how this podcast has no quality.
Yeah, this is a pure quantity pod. It's all about the minutes.
Yeah,
every minute is a dollar sign.
Exactly. That's exactly how we look at this. So let's try. Let's try to get back.
So back to the draft. Yeah. So obviously Zeke went second round. I mean, I think second and third was kind of his average draft position. Anyways,
and we did. Yeah. So I did take AJ since you did not take him.
Yeah, you took.
I
AJ.
agree with you. I don't love him in the first round. I tell you what I do. Yeah, I like him a lot better in the second round.
Yeah, I'm sure you felt pretty good about getting him 12th. Like, I think if he probably could have easily been gone before that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Anything else interesting? I mean, Jordan Howard, man, what a story for that guy. Like, that was a guy last year that came up a little bit and then dropped off real quick and then came back up again and finished out the season super hard. And now look at this, 14th overall draft pick in our league. Obviously some high regards for him. And then, of course, we see Gronk go in the first round again. Second round. God damn it.
Second round, but and we're crossing fingers for Mish. Wait, that is Mish, right? Titus ends.
Yeah.
Did say that.
Didn't he have Gronk 1 year when Gronk was injured, like the entire year? I feel like Misha has experienced the Gronk train before.
Well, didn't he have both? Didn't he have both of them last year?
Possibly. Yeah, I think he did.
Like we were talking about that. Like how? Like, can we imagine a fantasy? Like, could somebody have imagined a fantasy season where Gronk and Jimmy Graham were on the same team together?
Oh, man. Yeah, that's right. We were talking about that. Yeah. Yep.
I'm really far away from my microphone.
Yeah, I feel like you're just slowly drifting further and further back.
I know.
In the corner of your room right now.
Yeah, no. I smoked a bowl, and I'm sure everybody heard my little coughing frenzy.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like once I smoked a bowl, I just put my feet on up, and I'm starting to, like, dance in my chair, and I'm just, like, pushing, like, slowly and farther away from my desk and away from the microphone, and I'm just like, yeah, hey, guys. Yeah, I like this. No.
That's funny. And then I think another kind of
big surprise.
What are we both talking about? About Aaron Rodgers here.
Mm-hmm. At 19.
Yeah, Nick. See, I don't know. Nick was very quiet after the draft, but I feel like he just pulled a very self-proclaimed sneaky Nick move. What he might call it himself is to draft the QB in the second fucking round. I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers though. Like, if if as long as he stays healthy, you're gonna get big points from him. But
No, dude, that's
wow,
gonna be that's gonna be your team. That's
yeah,
gonna be your team. That's
exactly.
your team. His team is gonna go how Aaron Rodgers goes. So he might have Nick might have a good supporting cast, but I tried to remind him. I do remember the last time Nick had Aaron Rodgers. Now, do you remember this, Sean?
What happened with that? I'm getting like deja vu, but I can't
Ooh,
think of
yeah,
what it
yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah. And this is gonna get close. I think we talked about it in the Vegas trip with like the Jamal Charles ACL out for the season.
Oh,
That whole shit.
when was that the year that Aaron Rodgers got injured?
Remember he got a concussion when it was during the fantasy playoffs.
Oh yeah, dude. Now I remember that.
Nick got like 5 points or something like that,
Yeah,
or like a goose egg or
so
something
fucked
like that.
over.
Yeah, totally fucked over. It was just really bad. So, hey, dude, Aaron Rodgers is going to be a great quarterback. That's going to be a big part of his team. The hope is, if it's enough to get him in a good position, which it probably will be. Usually, I would say every single year, if we look at it on average, the 6 teams that are getting on in, they all have those top quarterbacks on their team. So. And Aaron Rodgers will most likely be, a top 5 quarterback, so that's going to be good.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is I honestly wonder, because the next pick after Nick was Derek.
Yeah, Derek had 2 picks, and
Yeah.
he went. I feel like these are some very Derek picks right here. Obviously,
Well, this is what I wonder, because of what Nick did.
I do wonder if it was influence. If Derek was like, oh shit, if Nick's drafting a top tier QB, because I know Derek is pretty classic for drafting a QB super early. Like he always has
specifically Aaron
Rodgers. So maybe he was like, fuck, that was my guy right there. Now I need to scramble to plan B. And 2 picks later, he picks up Tom Brady. I mean,
and
maybe he was always planning on trying to do that, but I could see that being a reactionary move.
I would absolutely say so. And what the funny thing is if you look at it from the other perspective, from Nick's perspective, if Nick wants to get Aaron Rodgers and he sees Derek behind him with 2 picks.
Yeah.
And these are 2nd and 3rd round picks.
And Derek knows he's not getting another pick after these for quite a while.
Yep. Get Aaron. Yeah. So maybe Nick,
I think Derek was
planning
on taking. I think he was
Aaron
planning
Rodgers
on taking Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, with one of those, didn't get him, and was like, "All right, I got to take the next best thing."
And I know Chris was really looking for Tom Brady, because Chris is a huge Brady fan.
Oh yeah.
And all he would need to make him like super super happy is to be rooting for Tom Brady and his fantasy team at the same time.
Yeah.
That would be glory for him. So I'm sure he was pretty fucking bummed about that.
Yeah, maybe I will have to talk to Chris, but I wonder, because he was 3 picks after Derek, I wonder if he was thinking, I'm going to take Brady if he's still there. I totally speculating, but you never know.
Yeah. Maybe because my thing is look, I mean, yeah, quarterbacks are going to get the most points out of any players most of the time. You'll have the superstar fantasy leaders, who aren't a quarterback, and that happens.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also feel that because there are so many of these quarterbacks that can get all these points for you anyway, you don't have to draft them in the 2nd round. You can. I got Matt Ryan last year, undrafted. I don't know what quarterback he finished, but he was like in the top 4 at least, and I paid nothing for him.
I mean, I agree, and there's always the potential for that to happen.
Yep.
I mean, you do have to have some luck in there as well. Like, you have to have a good waiver pick, because obviously nobody had their eyes on Matt Ryan because he had been pretty shitty the last couple years as a fantasy quarterback, but started off super hot, and you were in position to pick him up, which was good for you. But you never know, you might not be in position to do that. And I will say, in our league, trying to think back to a lot of the people that have won, I think it's a fairly consistent theme that the person that does win usually has, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Like, I know when Derek has won, he had Aaron Rodgers. You had Matt Ryan last year. When you won, like, I got 2nd and I had Drew Brees. So there is a certain theme that having that top tier quarterback will certainly get you far for the most part, but it's not a guarantee, and you're certainly giving up other positions if you're going to take a QB for your second overall pick.
Well, now let's see how many, as we go through all this, how many quarterbacks have been selected so far? We have two, right?
Two in the first 3 rounds.
In the first 3 rounds. Now, you ended up, we can go quickly through the rest of round 3. I mean, it looks pretty straightforward. I would say
see some rookie action. You got Fournette and Kareem Hunt. Yeah, he's a rising star with Spencer Ware out for the entire season now.
True. So he's got the opportunities right in front of him.
Yeah.
And KC running backs, I would say, are always going to get you points.
Yeah, they're always featured.
Well, because Alex Smith is not.
Yeah.
He's not going to be
fucking Hail Mary from Alex Smith is a check down to his running back.
Yeah, pretty much. So I would say, okay, that'll be really interesting to watch Joey's team and watch Chris's team as well. See how those rooks do. Yeah. And Baldwin, T.Y., Demarius. Fucking God.
You have Gurley again. You're back at it. And so, yes, I was hoping to take Todd Gurley with my pick in that round. I was like, you know what? Last year, he had a bad year. I think they've improved their offensive line this year. It sounds like they're committing to, still force-feeding Gurley the ball. I think he's going to have a much better season this year than last year. So I was like, I want this guy. And I don't know. I didn't think you would take him because you had such a bad taste in your mouth from last year, but you picked him.
Well, I didn't have him.
Oh, no, fuck. You had him 2 years ago when he was fucking amazing.
Yep, I did. So
you're going for him again. You can do that every other year thing with Todd Gurley.
I don't know if I'm going to do that every other year, but I'm hoping that it might turn out well, and we'll see. But the truth is I don't know. I really wanted there were some really good wide receivers that ended up going, and AJ Green is nice, but you want to pair that with something else. And Demarius, T.Y., a lot of those were gone. Amari was gone. And the backs are starting to run on out. So there might not be a chance to get another one come later, especially when you start seeing QBs going. God, that's always I don't know if that freaks anybody else out, but that always makes me start to panic. Be like, what the fuck? God damn it! Now there's going to be a run at QBs this early.
Yeah, because then it just sort of changes the way other people start drafting, and it's just this domino effect, or it can be.
It can be kind of. And I wouldn't say the next. You ended up drafting Keenan and then Drew, so that was the next quarterback.
Yeah, so maybe I was in a similar Derek situation. I did want to draft a good QB early, one of the top kind of 4 QBs. I reached a little higher. I was hoping I could wait maybe until the 5th round, but it was because I had that fucking 10th spot where I got the back-to-back picks, and then I don't get another pick for a 19 fucking... And then by then, there is no good QB, and then I've abandoned my whole QB strategy, which I just didn't want to do that. So I'm like, you know what? It's 4th round. I'm taking Breeze. He helped me. He certainly got me to 2nd place last year. He won me several weeks, so I think he'll still have a good year. Plus, I had Michael Thomas already, so having that connection, there's just too many reasons to take Breeze right there for me.
Yeah, I hear you. And
then it gets interesting. I think it gets in round 4. It got interesting for me.
Why did it get interesting?
Not for me, but just looking at some of the names, and then you got Marshawn Lynch. I wasn't sure who what people were gonna think about Marshawn, but you can talk about it because you snagged him.
I don't know. He would be my 3rd back in that sense. I guess the idea being, if he turns out to be just a touchdown hog and Derek Carr can move the ball, which I would say the Raiders are just a different team now. It's kind of strange to say, but since they've gotten these top draft picks and they've just started drafting so well over the years, and I don't know, and I would say John and Misha could definitely speak more to this than I could, but I mean, following the Chargers for so many years and with them being in the same division, you end up watching those same teams. But dude, with Derek Carr, then you got Amari Cooper, and then what the fuck is his name? Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
Dude, that team has just changed so much. Like they're like not just the crazy team that they were, kind of always got the reputation for, but now they just really have some offensive weapons. They got some really good defensive weapons too. So it's like they're super super competitive, and they're going to start getting into the playoffs a lot. So it's going to be exciting for them. I would say
Latavius Murray had a pretty good year last year too.
Yeah, I don't know. The truth is the reason I felt okay taking Marshawn, I guess early in the fourth, was because he would technically already be like my third back. So if Marshawn Lynch is going to be your third back, I feel you're in a pretty goddamn good position.
Yeah, that's a good point. So you definitely loaded up on some backs, pretty early there. And then Jordan Reed's second tight end off the board. And then you got some more. Then you got a couple rookies coming back
in.
Rookie running backs.
Dude, Joey is trying to do some of this fucking team with no name fucking bullshit. Dude, faceless man, dude. Oh my god. That's what you need.
Yep. Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, people have been touting up Dalvin Cook, coming into this season. We'll see. I don't know if Minnesota has done anything for their offense or their offensive line, but I mean, being a running back on Minnesota last year was like a fucking joke how bad they were, how bad their offensive line was. So maybe they've made some improvements there, but I'm definitely curious to see how this Dalvin Cook kind of runs in that offense.
Yeah, I mean, I was so surprised. Like, they still got, what's his name, don't they? Starting?
The quarterback?
Yeah, God damn it. The hell is that fucking kid's name?
Dave Chappelle.
Yep, that's it, man. That's where he disappeared to. He's started
hey, Dave Chappelle's fucking ripped now. He could play in the
NFL. So what is the fucking fool's name? Now I'm drawing a blank.
It's not Christian Ponder, is it?
No. It's the guy who took over for Bridgewater.
Oh fuck, I don't even know.
Bradford, isn't it?
Oh, is it Sam Bradford?
Isn't it?
Yeah, I forget. Sam Bradford has gotten traded to so many fucking teams.
Dude, you are the one that's supposed to be able to keep me on par. I'm the one that's supposed to be allowed to go on all the crazy tangents.
Dude, I couldn't even remember Dave Chappelle's name by looking at a picture of him.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's not actually like a. He's in character, so
right, but it's obvious who it is.
Okay.
It's the first week of it's not even the first real week of the season yet. I think we get a pass on not remembering who the fucking Vikings quarterback is. Like, nobody gives a shit about that anyway.
No way, dude. Dude. Okay, so John's buddy Nate, I work with him. Dude, if he heard that we didn't know we were too fucking either stoned or drunk or whatever to remember who was fucking starting for Minnesota Vikings, he's a huge Vikings fan. He'll kill us.
Well, I know the Vikings defense is really good.
I have the Vikings defense.
Ah, nice. That's a good one. Well, let's keep chugging along here. Then we've got DeAndre, who last year and he was a first round draft pick pretty unanimously. That did not work out, and you see how this year that's dropped him all the way down to the fourth round. So we'll see how Chris fares out with one of my more hated players in fantasy at this point.
Funny enough, that was Chris's hated fantasy player last year.
Oh yeah, he had him in a different league too,
yep,
right?
He did.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll see.
I'm okay at taking DeAndre Hopkins at 4. Like, dude, the dude's talent is no joke. He had fucking dipshit Osweiler.
Oh, God, yeah.
God. I feel the real story in the NFL is not about Brock Osweiler. It's not about any of this bullshit. The real story in the NFL is this genius of an agent, whoever he is, that can get Brock Osweiler all his fucking money
my God,
for being
seriously.
so fucking shitty. Like, dude, this guy is a fucking, whoever it is, just a golden god, man. This guy needs to be...
Dude, fucking Jerry Maguire.
Maguire, man, he's bowing in the fucking show me fucking his shit. God damn it, get this fucker paid.
Ridiculous.
Show him the money.
Well, then we see, Matt Ryan seeing that fifth already. We're in round 4, and we've got 4 or 5 QBs off the board already.
It's ridiculous. You guys are crazy.
Yeah, a lot of QBs going early this year so far. And Crowell, you see some more running backs. There's pretty thin at running backs overall.
Oh, there you go, 39. Oh, Tucker in the fucking puss. Huh?
Yeah, Nick going for those Browns. Oh, Nick loves those brownies.
And how many tight ends after Greg Olsen? That's 3?
Yeah, he's the third tight end off the board too. So people are. I know Derek. Actually, I think Derek loves Greg Olsen. I'm pretty sure he's had him a couple times before. So I feel like that might have been just one of those Derek picks where he's like, Greg Olsen, one of my guys. I'm taking him. I need a tight end. Like, he's already looking for tight ends.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. I definitely think the reason we didn't hear much from anybody was because everybody went through their draft. They looked at their teams and they were like, shit. They're happy with parts of it. They're not happy with other parts of it. People snagged players that they wanted to get. And it just, I feel this draft, people were just thrown off their game completely because there were
I agree.
some just kind of surprises in the beginning. Some players that maybe were taking a little, like the tight ends early. Okay, and the other thing, the other one, and we're not going to go through the whole draft. We can go ahead and just maybe talk about some of the matchups coming up next week. But the fact that Nick took Justin Tucker in, where was it? This is going on. I'm putting this on the podcast.
The 10th round, where
the 10th round, the 10th
fucking round.
10th round.
You don't draft a kicker until
10th,
this, like, the second or third to last fucking round.
10th round. I need if Chris can get as many samples of that and make it repeat like it's a big giant echo, like 10th round. I mean, dude, Justin Tuck, I cannot believe you did that.
I know.
So
that was a big shock right there. Like, there were a lot of other people, he could have stacked up his bench really well, gotten some backups or handcuffs, but just said, fuck it, I'm going for Tucker.
Okay. Just to have some fun, let's just name some players that you could have gotten after Nick took Justin Tucker. For fun, Matt Stafford. Okay.
I think he had Stafford before, so I don't think he would go that Stafford route again.
Maybe he wouldn't go that Stafford route, but you could have gotten a Dak Prescott, the pick right after him.
Dude, you could have gotten, I'm not even trying to talk myself up, but Jacquizz Rodgers, like a starting running back on a pretty decent team for several weeks, like a very usable player.
It would have been so good if it wasn't your team and you didn't lead with not trying to talk.
No, I'm looking through and I'm like, a lot of these aren't great examples. Then I saw Jacquizz, but
what you walked right over my Adam Thielen and not saying that's not a good example.
I guess he could be good. He had some good weeks last year, right? Like, oh, dude, he had that fucking 40-point week last year.
It's a fucking stupid gamble, and you're hoping that Bradford might actually be tossing it around people other than a rookie. That's the idea. Unless the rookie goes like on fire, I would say the rookies get a few catches until they can prove themselves, and if they prove themselves over the course of the season, then they start really getting involved. But the QBs, I feel, usually are going to go for those whatchamacallums, the vets.
Yeah. I'll say for Nick, though, he drafted a kicker, probably the earliest I've ever seen anyone draft a kicker, but he's certainly going to enjoy having him on his team, for
unless he gets injured.
I'll say for Nick, for the 13 weeks that he's in fantasy this year, he'll enjoy having Justin Tucker.
Oh, that's right.
Ooh.
Because
did you catch that?
Yeah, I caught that because I don't know why you're so upset about this is not your commish talking. This is your friend. This is your friend Brian. Nick. This is who's talking. I can't believe you're so upset about it not going to a full 16 weeks for the buyouts when the whole reason being is that you're planning to lose. Is that what you're planning to do? You're planning to be out of it by 13 weeks and you don't think you have a chance in the playoffs? No, that's a bunch of bullshit. Everybody has a chance at the playoffs. We all need to try as hard as we can to get to the playoffs because that's where the big money is, right?
That's where the money is.
The money is? Isn't that what we all want? The big money?
I mean, well, the money is definitely in winning, but it's also in podcasting.
That's true.
So,
all right.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, I would say that was one of the bigger notable
What,
just
all right.
surprises.
For any other big giant surprises from the draft period for you? I didn't really see any for me.
I can't remember anything else that was too surprising.
That was the one that I remember just I don't know if I shouted. I definitely said something aloud when I saw that pick go, and I was just like, "Are you like?"
And
something...
I think the ESPN draft chat just blew up when that happened too.
I wish we could go back and look at the entire chat.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice if we could. So, well, shit, we've already gone over an hour.
Perfect.
Right
See,
now,
guys.
so
See, you guys.
This is always how it happens.
I hope we're making it the entire way back home, and that you've already made it home, and that you're just sitting in the driveway. Your wife or girlfriend, whoever the fuck it is, your dog, cat, babies, goldfish, waiting for you, and you're not doing it.
This is what I
sitting in the driveway listening to us.
This is what I suggest, because going over an hour, if we go through the matchups right now.
No, we don't have to go through the matchups.
Yeah, I would say we don't have to.
No, not the matchups. Let's just talk about at least who's playing each other.
Okay, yeah, let's at least do some previews here. So let's see. So you are playing Joey. First, you're just kicking it right off against Joey.
I just want to see. Let me just look at the teams.
Nope. No looking at teams.
I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see if there's any. I like how there's already a Big Ben and Andy Dalton matchup. I just, kind of a classic NFL QB matchup right there. I like to see that. Anything else interesting going on? Shit, I forgot that you've got the Dalton to AJ Green going on there on your team.
Yeah. Dude, they cut Harrison Butker.
I don't even... Did you just make that name up? Harrison Butker? Yeah, okay, that's a real person.
Oh, he got cut.
You're going on the against the rookies.
No, I have to get a new kicker because they cut my kicker.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Jesus, I've never even heard of that person. Did you fucking draft that guy?
Dude, he was
Harrison Butker. Dude, you had to.
Yes, I had to. Of course I had to. How did nobody else see that and not go, oh my god, how do you not draft Harrison Butker? Oh
my god, that is too fucking funny.
But they cut the fucker. God damn it.
Yikes. Well, looks like you got some work to do on the free agency here.
If we weren't going to look at the teams, we never would have found that out, and I got a good laugh out of that. Shit. That sucks.
That is pretty fucking funny.
All right, Nick's playing Phil. I guess I don't know if there's anything special about that. I'm curious to see if...
That's a big fuck you to both those guys. Nothing special to see here. Let's just keep moving on.
Oh, god damn it. No, I'm kind of curious.
Well, we've already got what interesting for them. Nick's got Aaron Rodgers and Phil's got Jordy, so that'll be interesting to see.
See, the thing is like I think Phil's team is really, really deep. Like Brandon Marshall, Michael Crabtree, and T.Y. Hilton and Jordy Nelson. Like, Jesus, dude, that's a lot of fucking wideouts to have going.
True.
And they're really good wideouts, and that's really, really deep. And I mean, Jordan Howard, we're kind of curious to see how that's going to go. And Danny Woodhead, hopefully, if he's healthy and good to go, I know what kind of a player Danny Woodhead is, and so he'll get points for sure. But Nick has those two stud backs, and that's going to be tough to get through on any week. Plus Aaron Rodgers. So he's basically going to have three players. I would say his wideouts, I don't know. I mean, I guess he's got the connection with Devontae, but at the same time, Stefon Diggs and Jeremy Maclin, I think he's a little bit too hot in some of these people. I'm hoping that...
Yeah, we'll see how Austin Hooper does, too. He's kind of like this little sleeper tight end, who, ATL tight end could be good, but kind of unproven, though.
I was surprised everybody was going on tight ends early because
I know. I
of how
remember you called it
horrible
out. You're like, guys, do you not fucking see how bad tight ends were last year?
well, I don't know if that's. I mean, maybe everybody is right. They're totally calling it, and tight ends are gonna have a resurgence year this year. But God, tight ends were horrible last year. The worst I'd ever seen.
Well, let's speaking of tight ends, the tightest ends, Misha's going up against Derek, and you've got some interesting things here with the Hurricane Irma making some effect here,
that's true.
putting some unexpected week 1 bye weeks. So we'll see what Misha does there. But yeah, he's got Odell. He's got the unhealthy question mark tag. We'll see how that works out. But yeah, he's got to go up against Tom Brady and Dez Bryant, Greg Olson.
Misha's going that double super tight end set again.
Oh yeah, dude, he loves the fucking double tight ends, the Gronk and Kelsey. Jeez.
Shit, Misha, you are really double downing on this again. I hope it works out for you, and I'm totally wrong. I'm not saying that I think tight ends are going to be bad. All I'm saying is that I was being really cautious coming into this draft because of how bad they were last year.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see how it works out. And then
I don't know.
Derek's
team is good.
Yeah, Derek. I mean, you got Brady at the helm. You're going to be
Derek
putting
Johnson.
up some points.
Those two. That's going to be a tough to get through.
And then I got Glasgow, Senor Grandpa's tent. See, he's even got the picture. He's got the Calvin peeing, John's just going double down on the grandpa's tent situation. That is fucking hilarious.
Nick never even said anything to me about that.
I can't wait till
he...
Nick sees that and hears this.
Oh my God. I hope he does know that. Like, I'm pretty sure he was all very like, you know what, nobody can talk about this to anybody.
Yeah,
and we're just going to go ahead and put it up.
Untrue.
And we're just going to go ahead and put it up all over the internet. Why not?
That's so funny. So, John's team, I mean, you got Zeke in there, so we'll see how...
Dude, I'm sorry, Chris, man.
In there. Yeah, that's a bummer for Chris, but,
bad.
It's the way the fantasy dice roll sometimes, but...
The way the fantasy cookie crumbles.
Yeah, I mean, Chris has got some good young studs. He's got Fournette going there, and he's got Brandon Cook, so at least he's got one of his New England treasures there, so at least he'll have somebody to cheer on.
Yeah, true. Wow, he's got Carlos Hyde on the bench.
That's interesting. That's an aggressive move right there.
I like how you put it that way. Aggressive move.
And then I'm going against Jimmy. We'll have to see what Jimmy does here. He's got the hurricane situation swept through his team a good little bit there. So
wow, yeah. What the fuck, do you have any idea what's happening with that? Like, so
basically, the Miami and Tampa Bay game has been officially postponed. It's going to be in week 16 now, which was both those teams coincidentally had. Sorry, not week 16. I forget which week, like 12 or something. That was both of their bye weeks, anyways. So they're just moving this game to that, and then moving up their bye week to week 1. So yeah, none of those guys are playing. So definitely some fantasy impact for that, unfortunately. So
wow, that really sucks.
Yeah, it does. That's
what does he get, dude? All right, I mean, I know he's playing, and you've got Jaquiz on your bench too.
Yeah, so Jaquiz won't be playing this week, which is kind of a bummer.
I guess. What could he do? He could do Mike Gillislee.
Yeah, he could do Gillislee. I mean, New England running back. Yeah, he could do that. He could throw in Randall Cobb. He could throw in Latavius. I mean, he's got options, so I think he's got enough pieces to fill it in. And, I mean, you never know, dude. It could be one of those things where he's thinking, dude, this sucks, like Jay Ajayi, like my first-round draft pick. And then he fucking puts Gillislee in, and Gillislee throws up 25. Like, that could definitely happen.
Ooh, you know what we said we didn't do? Or we said we were going to do? A good way to wrap this up, and a good way to shove something in somebody's face.
What's that?
We said a good way to shove something in somebody's face, to piss everybody off. We did say that we were going to pick our favorite team. Like, just by looking at it, who you thought your favorite team was. or who had the best draft, or who do you think
God,
put it
that's
together the best?
I've been thinking about that this whole time, and it's a fucking good question. I mean,
How do you go?
I'm not picking my own team, that's for sure.
Well, okay, so wait. If we were to go back to that, what was it? You said more draft recap, and then we can go to view by team.
God, it's that's a fucking tough one, man. Nobody, honestly, like, this isn't a knock to anybody, just kind of the way it looks to me right now. Like, no one person's team stands out to me that much, but for fucking entertainment purposes, I need to pick a team though.
Yeah, for something you need to pick something. Okay,
You need to pick something.
you need to pick something. I would look for is I'm looking for balance. That is what I feel is one of the most important key factors to win is having good balance, having strong players in all positions. What are you looking for?
Damn. Yeah, I would look for balance too, but I would look for like a heavier number of like guys that really can stand out and throw up big points consistently. And so far, as I'm just looking at all these teams, the one that stands out to me so far, gotta say, I think it might be John. I gotta say your team looks pretty decent too, but yeah, John's team, looking up and down, looks pretty fucking strong.
He does have Russell. That's going to be really nice.
He's got Russell. He's got fucking Mike Evans. He's got Zeke. That's going to be huge. I mean, Demarius can be good.
He is missing that time, but if John can keep the whole thing together and be in a good position and get into the playoffs, or at least not be completely out of the playoffs by the time Zeke comes back, then dude, Zeke will be amazing.
I agree. Yeah, if his team is even clicking at all before he gets Zeke and then he gets Zeke back, like, definitely better watch out. Weren't we saying the same fucking shit last year because he had Tom Brady and Tom Brady was, missing
on his revenge year
and he was just like, just wait for, when he comes back. Like, John's definitely no stranger to taking somebody who's going to miss time and just banking on it.
Yep.
So,
I agree.
I guess I'd have to give it to John if I was giving out trophies, which I am most certainly not doing.
I'll tell you. I mean, if Phil had a little bit better of a running back core, I really like his team. Like, he's got so many good wide receivers. He's so stretched at that position. And if he had like one more like really solid running back, or one of these running backs turn out to be really good, I mean, he'd be great. I mean, Matt Stafford can always have an awesome year, and Kirk Cousins has been surprisingly somewhat solid as a starter after RG3 left. God damn it. Nick's team kind of pisses me off because he's got a great top end like Aaron Rodgers, Le'Veon, and Lamar Miller. And sorry, Nick, I just think it just goes.
Yeah, it does.
We need more depth.
We need more.
We need more depth at wideout. I feel like you've got a lot of wide receivers, but I feel like you need more solid wide receivers.
Yeah, there's no like stud. I mean, Devontae Adams should be really good this year, I think, but yeah, there's no like trued up stud receivers that he has.
Yeah, I do agree. Yeah, John's is really nice. Oh. Yeah, I guess I'll have to go with John just for the start of the season. I mean, just for that, I guess that reason of being like stretched and even. He's got so many good like pieces kind of all the way down. Like even Demarius is I think going to be really strong. Jonathan Stewart, who knows how, like Jonathan Stewart, man, he still puts it together. Tyrell Williams can always be a surprise. Yeah, I'll give it to John. John, all right, pissing tent. You get it, buddy.
Gotta agree, but it's hopefully wrong, probably wrong. Historically, we're wrong about these things, so John, that fucking sucks for you.
Well, you know what the funny thing is John's the only one that's still listening at this point in time. So we might as well just give him the crown and make him feel like rewarded for getting this far in the podcast.
True. And Derek, you are an asshole for not listening to this podcast.
Does he really say he's never listened to one?
I can't remember if he's not listened to one, but yeah, he doesn't listen generally. So, motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll just keep talking shit.
Well, it's going to be an exciting year nonetheless. I mean, everybody's in that fucking beauty honeymoon stage right now where, you know, we all have all the opportunity in the world. And for the vast majority of us, it's all going to come crashing down. But fucking excited to get this going. And
hey, we do it we take it one game at a time.
One game at a time. Yeah. So
I don't know how it's going to go. Usually the first game, if it doesn't go well, it's time to panic immediately. Don't let anybody tell you anything less. If you lose the very, very first game, I'm serious. Panic and do something. That's all I have to say.
Start panicking.
Just start panicking.
Just start trading. Just start fucking trading, people.
Throw away your whole team at that point in time if you lose that first game.
Fire sale.
Yeah, the whole thing.
All right, man. Well, good first pod under the books. I'll get this thing posted up tomorrow so we can all enjoy and get into fantasy mode. 2017, baby.
Wait, did we already end it? Did we already cut off the podcast button?
Didn't. We have not cut it off yet.
Oh.
This is still recording right now.
This is still recording.
Nice strong ending for us here.
Yeah. All right. Bye, everybody. That's how we like to end it here. We like to be as professional as possible.